What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Tommy Tallarico is selling his house. And while I don't like to go into personal life stuff with people, this is public information, and it gives us some pretty good insight as to what the hell's going on in this guy's broken life. Smash JT. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for my full article breaking down Tommy's house for sale. But for this video, we're going to dive into some of the details and the questions regarding all the information we have on this house. First off, it's located in San Juan Capistrano, and those of you who have been coming to this channel for a while would know that I've been there multiple times. And Tommy and me used to be good bros. We used to hang out and chill, and he'd invite me to his house for parties, and it was actually pretty fun. The first time I went to his house, where he gave me this tour going through all this stuff with a Spider-Man room and this retro game themed room and all these games that he supposedly worked on in the past and all these game systems he had. And he was a true savant of the retro gaming. He had what felt like every old school system that ever existed. And it kind of got to the point, looking back now, that felt like it was kind of like a hoarder's house. Like someone that just didn't know what to do with a bunch of money. So they just bought a bunch of random old video game crap, but didn't organize it anywhere. And I thought initially that was weird, but I gave him a pass because I was like, okay, maybe he's reorganizing the house. Maybe he just put all this stuff on his pool table and all these other tables around and on the ground and everywhere because he just had so much stuff and he didn't have a chance to organize it all because he was researching for the Intellivision Amico and he was more fixated on Intellivision being successful, so he was letting his house kind of fall by the wayside. You know, that was the excuse that I would give in my head when I was there, when he was walking me around. I have these like amazing systems just like sitting around your house. It's like no big deal. Here it is.
Well, I got it. Well, because I'm cleaning out the back room and I'm gonna make I have a big display. I want to put them.
It was an impressive collection, I'm not gonna lie, but the thing that stood out to me above all else was the house was a complete pigsty. Like, for a mansion, if you will, for a very large house, it was, I mean, 3 stories, pretty decent size. Not the biggest house ever, but pretty decent size. Huge for someone that doesn't have kids. Him and his wife that lived in this house together and had a couple Ferraris in it. It was a very big house for them. And to have it that unorganized was just really, really strange. A little bit peculiar. And again, I don't like to dive into the personal side of things, but this is public information, like I said at the beginning of the video, so I'm going to talk about it. And now it starts diving into the personal life of Tommy, which is something that I've avoided talking about for a really long time. And I'm going to try to tiptoe my way through it with this video because I only want to talk about what is absolutely pertinent to specifically my interest, the Intellivision Amico. And we see this, his house for sale right now. And I try to relate it to how this has anything to do with Intellivision. And Tommy, the former CEO, and now, what is he? An advisor? I don't even remember what they list him on the website. They keep lowering him down and down further and further and further. So he barely has anything whatsoever to do, a very loose connection with Intellivision at this point in time. And it got me thinking, as far as what Tommy's doing right now, when he's out there doing, what is this, checkers or chess or backgammon? I don't even know. It's very strange sitting on 2 chairs playing backgammon in a championship. I guess if you've retired and that's what your passion is, have at it. But it kind of feels like Tommy's been exposed for a complete fraud, and now he has to wear that badge for the rest of his life, and wherever he goes, people know him as the liar, the cheater, the stealer, the scam artist, the sneaky snake oil salesman that would do anything to pull one over on you. And unfortunately, that's what it's become with him. To the point where he called us back when this all was happening and told us that his life was kind of falling apart personally. And he was telling us about how he was facing potential divorce situation and how he was facing potential issues with lawsuits and how he was facing potential health situations that he was dealing with. And I didn't know what to believe with Tommy, because no matter what this guy said, it always turned out to be the opposite, at least when it came to Intellivision. But then when he got exposed for someone who was just literally flying by the seat of his pants, had no idea how to run a business for the life of him, and turned out to be basically a guy that was lying the entire way until he got exposed as someone who couldn't do what he said he could. Let's talk about this listing on Redfin. It is for sale here for $2.99 million. And I would say the going rate, I'm in San Diego. This is San Juan Capistrano, about an hour north of here. There are some pretty expensive houses up there, Laguna Niguel area. I would say it's a fair estimate for that house, especially in the private gated community that it's in. Yeah, it makes sense that he'll probably get that for it. And I know that might sound crazy to some people, but that's the going rate for houses in this area. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more than that, because that's what they go for now. And it blows my mind, but he'll get it. And that's on top of a $662 per month HOA fee to pay for the guy at the gate to lift it and close it, and I guess someone to trim the hedges along the way. That's what you get for this house for $3 million and a $600+ HOA per month. It's not cheap, but living in this area, like I said, ain't cheap. But then I get to thinking about why. Why is Tommy selling his house right now? And you can go down two different roads with this one. And one of them is far more likely than the other, but I'm going to put them both out there just because. And maybe there's more. Let me know in the comments if you can think of other ones. But one, he's pouring his heart and soul into Intellivision, and this is his last ditch ever to fund the project. We all know that's not what's happening here, though. Obviously, he's not going to be doing that, but I'm sure we got some people in the diehard Amico cult community hoping and crossing their fingers that this is what's going to make them finally create that console and pay back Sudesh and put everything back on track. When we all know, even though Tommy said he would sell his house to do this, that that's the last thing this guy would ever do. And then the other side of things, we have his life falling apart, like he mentioned to me back when the shit was hitting the fan and Amico was starting to fall apart and Tommy was taking a step back from the CEO role. All the way back then, he had this conversation with a few of us telling us about his personal life was in shambles, his personal health was in shambles, and his financial situation was in shambles. And you put this all together, it's like, maybe, just once in Tommy's life, maybe he was being honest. Maybe he really was going through some personal struggles. Maybe his wife was really leaving him. Maybe he really is dealing with some serious health issues. Maybe his finances are falling apart. Well, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions. Like, that's the only thing that comes to mind when I hear that. And I don't mean to sound curt or that I don't care, because no matter who you are, if your health is failing and your relationship is falling apart, my heart does go out to you. No matter how bad you've screwed people over this, there's something about me where I care, even when I shouldn't. And there's a part of me that's really torn on this. But then there's another part of me that's like, I feel like Tommy is always trying to pull one over on somebody, and I don't trust him at all. And when it comes to something like this, I almost wonder, now call me crazy for this conspiracy theory, I should go put a tinfoil hat on when I say this, but it's Tommy, so it's really not too far out of reach to say this, but maybe, just maybe, this whole divorce potential situation that's going on isn't really as bad as he makes it out to be. Maybe he knows that he is personally attached to Intellivision. Sudesh is pissed. They're getting sued by the furniture company. Probably have other lawsuits on the forefront coming to come at them and drill Intellivision into bankruptcy. And what if Tommy isn't a moron? Because I know he's not, by the way. What if he's not the dumbest person on the planet and he's looking at the situation financially and he's like, whoa, I am beyond boned here. Maybe if I talk my wife into an amicable separation, she can get half. We sell everything. I give her all the money, half the money, whatever California law is, and then they can only come after what I have. And they take all that from me, and I'm left with nothing. But in the background, I'm still with my wife, and we're still good, and she's still with me to the end. But she knows that this is the best thing to do to save their money and keep it away from the bankruptcy courts, from Sudesh, from any other people that were investors that were going after Tommy and things like that. I don't know. Like I said, it's just crazy enough to work. And it's something that I actually brought up to my good buddy, the Retro Bro, a while back. Like, I'm talking 2+ years ago when I brought up this conspiracy theory to him. And he was so torn, and it hit him so hard that he was upset at me and swore me off. And he got to thinking about it, and a few weeks later he actually apologized to me and said, holy crap, you might be right. So I don't know. Like I said, this is all just conjecture and speculation. But when you see a guy selling his $3 million house, you see him being pushed out of Intellivision, you hear the stories directly, I've heard from him directly about potential divorce, and you start putting all this stuff together, you can't help but think that this guy has something more that he's trying to pull over on people, and I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And I know he's not the biggest guy in the world, but I still can't throw someone very far. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.
Smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change.